What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. And today we got to talk about Aries Spears, Marlon Wayans, Shawn Wayans, and DJ Vlad. And one of the oldest lessons in life. Be careful putting your 2 cents in on somebody else's business. Because life has a way of making you live inside the same situation you was laughing at. Because when Marlon Wayans questioned DJ Vlad about being paid his value, Aries Spears was one of the first people out here calling Marlon crazy. He had something to say about another black man asking for what he felt he was worth. Now fast forward, and look who ends up in his own situation with DJ Vlad about value, money, respect, and what his time is worth. That's not just irony. That's life spinning the block. And when life spins the block, it don't always honk the horn first.
Like I said, he always got something smart to say, and I have no disrespect for any black man in this business or anything. Just keep our name out your mouth.
Keep our name out your mouth.
He on a I had a beef with what's his name, DJ Vlad. And you know, it's one thing. Between me and Vlad.
Yeah. Right.
But then Vlad asked him a question about the situation. And, Aries always got something smart to say, and I respect the fact that he was trying to bite his tongue, but he was like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Don't talk about my money or my value or what I feel about what my value is. You don't get to do that. And as a black man, you should never, ever do that, because one day you're going to be in my position. Lo and behold, 8 months later, him and DJ Vlad beefing about him wanting more money from Vlad.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
And I was going to say, is the juice worth the squeeze? But I shut my mouth out of respect. And as men, hey man, Aries, you got our number, holla. Because we don't do this.
And I think it's crazy because y'all have put so many black men, black women in position. So for him to come, I'm sure there's so many other people he could have talked about.
It didn't make any sense. Like I said, I thought we were cool. I never had any beef with the dude. It just came out of nowhere.
All I'm saying is we ain't too old to jump people. And there's a lot of y'all.
Why would someone start with y'all?
There's a lot of y'all.
It was a sucker move. It was like, yo, what the hell? What is? You got a little podcast?
Sean, and I was like, Sean likes to wear his shades. Why you care about looking in this man's eyes?
He want to look you in your eyes.
Is that the reason why you're so removed from social media? Like because of this kind of activity that happens?
Part of it, and just the other thing is, it doesn't excite me. I like real life, man. I like my family. I like my kids. I like my girl. I like to chill, man. I'm not trying to get in beefs with people and over dumb, silly stuff.
Well, you gonna have beef now.
I won't even.
You won't know.
I'll be telling you. I'm like, hey, Sean, you got that Aries B speed. Aries B speed you started. You said we gonna black his eyes for real.
Who has y'all?
But it would be like it's like when Eddie had that bit about Michael Jackson got beef with you. He's like, so.
This is where Marlon Wayans' point hits harder than people want to admit. When a black man in entertainment says, I know my value, the last person who should be trying to undercut him is another black man in entertainment. Because we already know how this industry plays. Hollywood will use you, underpay you, age you out, laugh at you, steal your style, and then act like you should be grateful just to be in the room. So when Marlon Wayans says his time costs what his time costs, that should not be a moment for another comedian to run to the internet and act like he doing too much. That should be a moment where you say, I may not charge what he charges, but I understand the principle. Because value is personal. What Marlon Wayans is worth to Marlon Wayans might not be what somebody else thinks he is worth. But that's not the point. The point is, he has a right to name his price. The point is, he has been in this business long enough to know what his name brings to a platform. The point is, when you've been making people laugh for decades, making movies, selling tickets, building culture, and standing on your own name, you don't have to accept every offer just because somebody has a camera and a chair. And that's where Aries Spears messed up. He jumped into somebody else's money conversation like he was the accountant of black comedy. That's a bad place to stand. Because when you publicly comment on another man's value, you better make sure your own value never gets questioned in public. And that's exactly what happened. The same conversation he had something to say about ended up knocking on his door.
Vlad and said, look, I feel like I want a little bit of bump in pay because I know my value. You once had Lord Jamar, Godfrey, Tony Yayo, Boozy, and me. All of which many times people said were your best guess. Who's the only one left? Me. Godfrey left, Jamar left, Yayo left, and Boozy left. I'm the last one standing. And when people go, yo, I watched the show because of you. Yo, I subscribe to his channel. The moment your interview's over, I unsubscribe. There's value in that. So you're mad at me because I'm recognizing my worth? And I told you I wanted to be fair. I wasn't even saying pay me what you pay Boozy, because I get it. From a numbers business standpoint, I get it.
Now the tables turn, and all of a sudden he understands what it feels like when somebody else is discussing your worth like it's just content. That's why you gotta be careful. Every opinion don't need your voice. Every beef don't need your footprint. And every situation don't require you to run in with a cape, a microphone, and a hot tape. Sometimes the wisest thing a grown man can do is watch a situation and say, that ain't my business. But the internet has trained people to think silence means you don't have a position. Sometimes silence means you have wisdom, because the same thing you clown today can become your test tomorrow. And that's where Aries Spears is right now. He's not just dealing with Marlon. He's dealing with his own words coming back to visit him. And that visit is uncomfortable. Now let's talk about Shawn Wayans, because this part is even deeper. Shawn Wayans is not one of those dudes that's online every day looking for beef. He's not constantly in the comment sections. He's not chasing viral moments. He's not trying to prove he's still relevant by going at people every week. He always comes across like a man who values his peace. A man who will rather live his real life than argue with strangers on the internet. So when he comes out and speaks on Aries Spears, that tells you he felt some type of way for real. Because Shawn is basically saying, brother, I gave you an opportunity, and this is how you talk about me? That's a different kind of disrespect. It's one thing for a stranger to talk crazy about you. It's a whole nother thing when the person who wanted to be around your family, wanted roles, wanted access, wanted opportunity, then later turns around and uses your name for content. That's why it hit different. Because the Wayans family is not some random comedy family. They are a black entertainment institution. They didn't just make people laugh. They created lanes. They opened doors. They put black creatives in position. They built movies, shows, characters, and moments that became part of the culture. So for Aries Spears to talk about Shawn Wayans like he's just some arrogant dude in sunglasses, that sounds small to me. That sounds like somebody who benefited from being around greatness and still found a way to resent it. And let's be real about something. Sometimes people call you arrogant when you simply don't give them access they think they deserve. Sometimes people call you Hollywood because you won't let them drain your energy. That's life. And if Shawn Wayans wants to wear sunglasses, let the man wear his damn sunglasses. Everything in a character flaw. But Aries Spears turned that into a whole personality attack. Like he was trying to make Shawn look like he thinks he's above people. And that's what makes it look bitter. Because the Wayans brothers don't have to prove what they have done for black comedy. Their work is the proof. The movies are the proof. The people they help put on is the proof. So when somebody with a limited resume starts taking shots at them, it don't look like truth-telling. It looks like frustration looking for a target. And that's why this whole thing feels like Aries Spears has a problem with everybody who represents what he thinks he should have been. That's the part nobody wants to say. Aries Spears is talented. Nobody can deny that. But talent and career are not the same thing. A lot of people are talented. Fewer people know how to turn talent into a legacy. And that's where the Wayans family separates themselves. They didn't just have talent. They had an infrastructure. They built the family business in an industry that does not make it easy for black people. That's why I think Aries Spears should have been more careful with his words. Because when you talk about people who actually built something, you need to come with more than just personal jabs. You need to come with respect, even if you disagree.
You've been around, you two have been around, your family has been around through eras where it wasn't, well, y'all were famous without the clickbait, right?
Yeah.
So now that you do get your name added to a bunch of things that where you could just be sitting at home minding your business and they like, we spoke to Shawn.
I wouldn't even know that was on because I'm so not even on social media.
I would have to tell him.
Someone on social media had
You know what they said about
you know what they said about you that didn't happen? You know what happened that didn't really happen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I gotta bring you in on this, man. This is crazy.
Because you had one too.
I did.
Yeah, they called you arrogant. It was a comedian, Aries Spears, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And a
He said you can't look you in the eye.
Why do you wanna look another man in the eye?
What's your problem? See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm just asking.
This is what I'm saying. Is sometimes you bring out the animal inside of people. We keep our mouth shut. We
Right.
don't talk
I
about
didn't
nobody.
go back at him because I didn't care. But now that you bring it up, he's a because he was begging to get inside of one of our movies or on our TV show. I hooked him up. I put him on a cartoon that we did called The Boo Crew, and I realized how crazy he was. He was a crazy man. So
And what he's saying is, keep my name out your mouth. You have real black guys. Keep with him.
Yeah.
Is that why?
we seen him get slapped up already on online.
man.
So
And
The second part is where the lesson really sits in the room. Because the Wayans brothers are not just defending themselves. They are showing the difference between people who built something and people who just comment on what other people built. That's a big difference. Builders move different. Builders understand value different. Builders understand what it costs to create something that lasts. They know every yes has a cost. They know every interview has value. They know every platform benefits from the person sitting in the chair. That's what Marlon Wayans was saying to Vlad. He wasn't just talking about a check. He was talking about his value. And value is something black entertainers have had to fight for since the beginning. That's why Aries Spears taking shots at them felt unnecessary. It was like throwing a rock at the house that once opened the door for you. And that's one of the worst looks in entertainment. Because if somebody helped you or tried to help you or gave you access, you don't have to worship them forever. You don't have to agree with everything they do. But you should be careful how you talk about them publicly. Because gratitude still matters. Respect still matters. And history still matters. And when you ignore all three, you start looking like the kind of person who don't know how to appreciate the people that were good to you. Now, I'm not saying Aries Spears can't have opinions. I'm not saying he has to bow down to the Wayans family. But there's a difference between criticism and bitterness. There's a difference between honesty and hating. And that's where Aries Spears keeps getting himself in trouble. He's funny enough to say something that gets attention. But sometimes he don't seem disciplined enough to ask himself if that attention helps him. That's the difference between being talented and being wise. And in this business, wisdom will save you more than talent. Because talent can get you in the room. Wisdom keeps you from burning the room down while you're still inside it. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.